Great. Uncle Mike. The internet is down, so we so that's why the announcement slide were blurry. So the internet is down. But that won't stop us, will it? No. Sure. Right? So, okay. Well, we've had a lot of sharings, but we have so much going on in our community. Like, there's so much going on, and sometimes I'm challenged and how much we can highlight, here on Sunday morning. And so everybody wants to. Maybe we should just have a testimony or a report Sunday or something. But maybe a certain demographic would not show up. So maybe before I go into my sermon, we had a road cleaning in our project yesterday. We took responsibility for cleaning golf roads. So we do that in the summer. And so we had that yesterday, and we had a great turnout. Maybe Keiko-san, could you maybe share a little bit about it before I go into my sermon?
Yeah. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Real quick. So this was the official kickoff of 2026 Shambag Road Cleaning. Woo! So this project started a few years ago with Reverend Takami and Jeff. So we want to continue every year. And this time was really successful again. 16 people showed up to participate. And I was surprised at how many gears we have in the back office. So Reverend Takami planned so that everybody will join. It was like so many gears, so we have more room to go. So yesterday, as usual, with huge help from missionaries, and you see that shown there, and many of our members participated. And as you see the road, we have the Chicago Family Church, Shambag, next 1.5 mile. So I thought it could be more because I was exhausted, but then actually it's 1.5 one way, right? So we divided in two teams. One team go from, toward the Roselle. The other team go to Canon, and we will meet in the middle. So we had a great energy and enthusiasm. And I just wanted to tell you one story. Friday evening, like 6 o'clock, I went to Papa John. I thought maybe too late because it's the next day thing, but I thought I wanted to try. So I asked, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. And I saw the beautiful flyer that our online admin created. And they looked at it, it said, living for sake of others, all the good reasons, right? So, okay, I donate 5 pizza. And then I said, 5 may not be enough, so I'll buy 2. I said, don't worry, we'll pay for everything. So we picked up the pizza yesterday after the road cleaning. We became a bit late, and Pedro, he said, I was waiting for you. And he wanted to be in the picture. And he said, make sure to send the picture to mobile. It's mobile. So that's what happened. So it's a great energy. It will be continuing in July, August, September. So please join us. Thank you.
All right. Oh, I don't need this. I'm good. Okay, well, thank you. All right, so that's living for the sake of others. I feel this is a good project for our church, right? So now we're just cleaning Golf Road. What if we clean more roads, right? What if we clean the entire Shamberg? We take it on, So that would be good. I believe there is just about enough of us here to do it, to make it happen. So please show up next time. It's good for you. You get to walk. You get to walk. You get your steps in, right? So it's good. All right. Okay. My sermon this morning is titled A Life of Offering. A life of offering. The last 2 Sundays we had wonderful sermons. Our assistant pastor came back, Pastor Rosia. You can see her in the back. She's trying to put the baby to sleep. But she came back from maternity leave, and when she returned, she gave a sermon, right, about living a life of sacrifice. So I heard some good feedback from it. And then last Sunday, Reverend Takami gave us a wonderful sermon about having the courage to surrender. Right? So I want to build on that for today's sermon a little bit. All right, let's see where it goes. But you know, life is short and valuable. The Bible says your days are numbered. Right, your days are numbered. And the problem with that is nobody knows the number but God. You know, so your days are numbered. So what are you going to do with them? You know, so in that we find the preciousness of life, right? In that it can be short or it can be long, however you look at it, but in that aspect, life is so precious. Every day we get is very precious. But then there is value, it's also valuable. Life is valuable. But the question is, what makes life valuable? What gives value to life? Anyone? What makes life valuable?
True love.
True love. Love.
Spouse.
Spouse. That's Uncle John. I see. Are you trying to win our favor back? Are you in trouble today? All right. So life makes life valuable. You know, there is a fallen standard of value. This is kind of bothering me. Is it too close to me, or what's going on with this? There is a fallen standard of value, and there is heaven's standard of value. The fallen standard of value is how much you can get, how much stuff you can get, right? And how you can get other people to live for you. That is the fallen standards of value. How much you can acquire, how much you can get. So it is in having other people live for me, and even how powerful I can be to take what other people have. You know, that's the fallen standard of value. But heaven's standards of value really is found in how much we can give. That is heaven's standard of value. So the value of a life in heaven's view, from heaven's view, is how much of it we can give away. So that's why there is such teachings from Jesus as you know, if you want to preserve your life, you lose it. But if you give it away, you get it, and you have much more of it. It's because heaven's standard of value is in how much of it we give away, right? So it's totally opposite from the fallen world standard of life. The fallen world standard of value is to take, right? But the heaven's standard of value is in giving. How much we can give. How much of our lives we can give, right? So that's why Father teaches, you know, and when our life on this earth is completed, the record of how we lived will become the measure for how much heaven we deserve. This will be the standard. The love you unselfishly bestowed upon your fellow man. The service you willingly rendered for the benefit of others. The sacrifice is that you courageously offered for humanity and for God. The sum total of these deeds will become your treasure for eternity. Isn't that amazing? And so from heaven's view, the standard really is how much of ourselves we can give, how much we can give to others. That's heaven's standard of value. So the value of our life is how much of it is lived for God and for all those around us. Okay? All right, I didn't lose you yet. All right, I don't plan on losing you today. But I really want you to get this. Because I had a deep conversation about sacrifice with someone after Pastor Rosia's sermon. And it was good. Good conversation because he brought some questions. For me, that's good. When a sermon brings up questions, then it's a good sermon. A sermon must bring up questions that lead us to deeper prayer and deeper conversation with God. And so I like that, but there were questions about sacrifice. And so life with God requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of a part of me for the sake of others. So heaven's standards of life and value is in how much we give. And you can call that sacrifice. So a true life with God requires sacrifice. And so in our memoir, our true mother describes her first encounter with true father. When father first notices her. She was so young. And our mother brought her to the church, and Father Moon notices her and asks, whose child is this? Whose daughter is this? And our mother introduces her and says, oh, this is my daughter. And so Father asks her, what is your name? And it's Hakjahan. And so she introduces herself. Her name is Akjan. And at that moment it clicks. It clicks for Father. It clicks for Father that, wow, this is the moment. And he exclaimed himself several times, Hakjahan has been born to Korea. Right? It clicks for him that, wow, this is the pearls, this is the jewel, this is everything that heaven has been longing for. In that moment, he has claimed himself, Hakjahan has been born to Korea. Hakjahan has been born to Korea. But then, when he spoke to her in this way, then Father Moon spoke to me as if he were asking me to gather. He said to gather my resolve. He said, Hakjahan, you will need to make sacrifices in the future. This is what he tells her. You will need to make sacrifices in the future. And she replied right away. She said, yes. As if she had known. She had known it already. Before it was brought to her, she said, yes. And in her own reflection, and she said she was surprised by her own forwardness. She was surprised by her own forwardness. She was very young at that time, but very clear. Then she then shares, she said, she continued to think about this moment and deeply what our true father at the time they referred to him, Teacher Moon, had said about sacrifice. The question, what can I sacrifice for God, was shaping my life. So sacrifice began to shape our life. Our life became a life of sacrifice. Now, here's what she has learned. She said, without sacrifice and service, one cannot even begin to think if one is living for the sake of others rather than for oneself. So sacrifice is our friend. Sacrifice is our friend. Now the challenge is this. The challenge of sacrifice is that we are naturally selfish. We are selfish. We think of ourselves more than we think of others. As you know, I am selfish. I think all of us are selfish. You know how I know it? Because you know, when a picture is taken, right, a group photo is taken, and they show you, oh, here's the picture. You know, what do you look at first? You look at yourself, right? You try to find yourself, right? Well, how's my hair? How's my hair in this picture? Do I look good? You know, then you say, if you look good, then you say, this is really a nice picture. This is really a nice picture. One time, my wife and I took a picture, and I looked really good in that picture. You know, and I went and framed it, and I was ready to put it up in our living room, and my wife says, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, well, this is a great picture. I love it, and I want to put it up. She said, no, look at me. He said, look at me. I said, well, no, I think you look great. This is a nice picture. You know, so, and as the point is, we're naturally selfish. We think about ourselves first, right? And so sacrifice is a challenge. It calls us to go out of our way, right? To look at others first, to think of others first. But it's a challenge, right? So it requires thinking less of me, right? Not that I am less, but thinking less of me. And that is unnatural for us. So sacrifice is intentional, right? Anything that is of value is challenging. And then in that way, it requires a lot of intention. We need to be very intentional with it. You know, so the next challenge is that we often hold on to our sacrifice, right? You hold on to it. We know how many times we sacrificed, right? We keep count of it, right, in your notebook, right? And this is the source of most conflict, right? Because when I try to be a good person, I try to be a good husband, you know, I can tell you exactly what I did yesterday and the day before for my wife, you know, and if really I'm in trouble in the moment, I think, wait, don't you remember I was nice to you yesterday? And, you know, I served you yesterday. And, you know, so we hold on to our sacrifice. We remember it. Then when we hold on to it, it becomes a source of conflict. Then it becomes the source of resentment. So my message today is this. The value of our sacrifice is in how much of it we can offer up. So sacrifice is the first step. But the fulfillment of sacrifice is offering it up. You know, we are religiously sacrificial, right? Because all religious textbooks tell you to sacrifice. So you want to be a good religious person, you force yourself to do it. But at the same time, we lack in offering it up. We don't offer it up. I sat down with one brother who had offered so much to the church. You know, and then he said, oh, we did this, I did 15 years of MFT, then I did fundraising, and then I did this and that, I went here, I went there for the church. What did I get in return? Oh, what did I get in return? And I said, wow, it's a beautiful offering. It's a seed that you have planted. Don't dig it out. This is our challenge. We dig out the seeds that we have planted. You know, if you plant a seed and you keep going back and try to see is it growing or not, well, that's why it's not growing. Because you're undigging it. You have to leave it alone. Right? And this is our challenge. We don't offer it up. The fulfillment of sacrifice is in offering it up. Is in offering it up. See, in offering it up, you are giving it to God and say, God, use it. But if you're holding onto it, God cannot use it, and that's the problem. We have made tremendous sacrifices, but we are still holding on to it. And God is saying, give it to me and I will use it. Amen. Give it to me and I will use it. God cannot touch what has not been offered to him. Unless we offer it up, God cannot touch it. And that's the problem. That's our challenge. You know, we have made so much sacrifices, but we have not offered it up. All right. So the value of our sacrifice is in how much of it is offered up. How much of it is offered up? Are we willing to offer everything up? Are we willing to offer everything up and just let it go? You know, Father always talked about giving and giving and giving, and then what? Forget that you have given, and then give some more. Well, now the challenge with us is we don't forget that we have given, and then we stop giving. We stop giving. But when we stop giving, we stop fulfilling or we stop being fulfilled, because fulfillment in life comes from how much we are giving. And I'm not talking about money, right? I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about heart. I'm talking about heart. You know, we hold on to how much we have given, then we forget to give. We forget to forget about it. Then we stop giving. It's like, well, I've given so much. This is it. I've given so much. Wow. But the way of heaven is to forget and give some more. And that's where fulfillment comes. So when sacrifice is not offered up, it damages us. Actually, sacrifice becomes a bad thing if we're not willing to offer it up. So if our heart is not ready to freely sacrifice and offer it up, it's actually best to not sacrifice at all. But what kind of life then would we be living if we are not sacrificing, if we are not giving? Joy comes from giving. People who are cranky are people who stop giving. If you constantly find where to give, how to give, ask God, where can I give today? And then those kind of people are the happiest people. One day when I was still in my early years of pastoring. I've been a pastor for 11 years now. It's amazing. And I was still in my early years of pastoring, and I was really struggling. I felt really stuck. And then I called up one of the elders that I respect and look up to. I say, I feel stuck. I really feel that there is no meaning to what I am doing. Then he said to me, he's one of the elders who joined in California. So he said to me, when I joined the church, Oni Durst, some of you may know Oni Durst, one of our early church members, said to me, when you feel stuck, you need to serve. Go and find someone who is in greater needs than you, then see what happens. Wow, I took that advice and I went out. I was also a college student at the time. I went out just on the college campus and I started picking up papers. I started picking up trash, and I felt so happy. Because the janitor, that was his job. He saw me doing that. He's like, well, thank you. Why are you doing this? Thank you. It's my job. But then we became good, best buddies. In my lunch breaks, I went in the janitor's room and we hung out. I hung out with the janitor. But that act of service liberated me, gave me new life. So when I feel stuck, I think, who is in greater needs than me? And I look for them. Then that's how I keep going. Okay, so resentment is often the result of sacrifice that was not offered up. You know, when you keep count how much you did for your spouse, and they are not grateful. They are not grateful. Or then resentment starts to build. Resentment starts to come in. Same thing with your children, with your parents. And it's like, I've done all this for you. And you're so ungrateful. Then resentment starts to rot your heart. And the worst thing you can be is resentful. I always pray, Heavenly Parent, help me not become resentful. This is literally my prayer. I pray this prayer quite frequently. I say, Heavenly Parent, help me not become resentful. Because, wow, when you become resentful, that controls your life. You see, someone who is resentful, they always feel that their life is terrible. Right? It's like, there is nothing good about my life. Listen, it's just that one moment, that one relationship, but that consumes their entire existence. That's why the worst thing you can be is resentful. Resentment as a way of controlling the entirety of your life. So I pray, Heavenly Parent, help me not become resentful. But how do you do that? You offer everything up. You live a life of offering. So our calling is to make our lives a total offering to God, our Heavenly Parent. This is the calling of our lives, to make our lives a total offering to God, our Heavenly Parent. And Jesus set this kind of standard. Jesus' life was a total offering to Heavenly Parent. He gave everything. And when everything was not enough, He gave His life. Right? So they asked Him, what is the standard? He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your might, all your strength. Give everything. And He showed that way. He gave everything Himself. So Father's reflection on this is this. What is the core thought that we find on the path of the providence of restoration? It is to follow the path of a sacrificial offering. What is sacrificial offering? We were told to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your mind. This is Matthew 22:37. The outcome of loving with all your heart and all your soul and all your minds is simple. It means that you put your life on the line out of your love for God. It doesn't mean that you are forced to do it. It means that you do it willingly, feeling an inexpressible joy. So that's the standard. And Jesus demonstrated it, He gave everything, total giving. Jesus' life was total giving, always giving all of Himself for the sake of heaven. And when everything that He has given was not enough, what did Jesus do? He gave His life. He gave His life, this total giving. And on the cross, what is Jesus' prayer? This is a life of offering. Jesus says, Father, unto your hands I commit my spirit. Everything. The last thing on that cross that Jesus had was His spirit. And He said, God, here is my spirit. Take it. I have given everything. Take even my spirit. That's why Jesus could resurrect. When we offer it up to God, God multiplies it. God pumps life into it. when you offer it up to God. Offering it up to God is the secret. That's why Jesus could resurrect, because he didn't hold on to it. He gave it away. He said, God, take my spirit. And God said, thank you. Watch now what I'm going to do. Then 3 days later, he resurrected Jesus' spirit. Wow, if I was in the audience, I'd be clapping for Jesus. But that's okay. But how about true parents? True parents have followed the same course of total giving. Their holy wedding in 1960, this was their pledge to heaven, that we will make our marriage a total offering for God. Total offering. And they have lived their lives that way. How about their family? They say our family too would be a total offering to God. How about the Unification Church? Father said the Unification Church exists for the sake of the nation, for the sake of the world. Give it up for the nation. Give it up for the world. That's the standard. That's the standard our true parents have followed. Oh, you know, and when their precious son was involved in a car accident, a tragic car accident, and went to spirit world, this was their boy. They loved him so much. They were in deep pain. They offered it up to God too. They said, God, use this pain. Use this moment as an offering. Everything they offered up, and they declared that day that this is the day of the victory of love. So true parents have offered everything. So how much shall we offer? Wow, that's a tough question. That's the tough question. We are not willing. We are not willing. We want to hold on to it. But if you hold on to it, you lose it. If you try to preserve it, you lose it in the end. And I'm not saying, hey, you give to the church. I'm saying you give your heart to God. You give your heart to God. I'm not saying you do church work, that you quit your job and volunteer for the church. That's not what I'm talking to you about. I'm talking to you about giving the fullness of your heart to God, our Heavenly Parent. So how much of it are we willing to give to God, our Heavenly Parent? If you want to make a relationship with God by offering devotion before Him, the offering you make must be totally pure and brand new. You cannot make a devotional offering with leftovers. Thus, when you tithe, your tithe should be pure. I want to stop you right there. Don't think about money. This is not about money. I'm not talking about money here. A father is not talking about money, and he's talking about hearts. Thus, when you tithe, your tithe should be pure. Something in which you invested your utmost heart and mind. That is a sacrificial offering. A sacrificial offering should be pure. If you are to love your son, you must offer your best son. If you are to offer your son, you must offer your best son. Wow. Which one is your best son? And I only have girls, so. This is because your offering represents yourself. It's because your offering represents yourself. A tithe is 10%, right? Jesus set the standard of 100%. True parents, 100%. But here, God has a covenant with us. God has a covenant with each one of us. He said, if you offer 10% with a pure heart, I will receive it as if you have offered 100%. It's a good deal.
Thank you, God.
This is the deal we have with God. Just if you offer 10% of purity from a pure heart. God says, I will receive it as if you have offered 100%. So yes, when this came to my heart, I began to think, God is asking us, how about you make just 10% of your day an offering to heaven? How about you make 10% of your week an offering to heaven? You go do the math. How about you offer 10% of your month as an offering to God, a foundation upon which God can claim your month? How about you make 10% of your year an offering to God? Wow. Then in the end, 10% of your life would be an offering to God. Now the problem is that if you are in this room, you are at least 15 years late. You are at least 15 years late to this kind of life. So you must start now, and you must double it. But if you're 70 years old, 10%. All right, 10%. I won't go there. I don't want to get in trouble. You think I'll go there? I don't want to get in trouble. So this is the tithe of tithes. The tithe of our hearts. 10% of my day belongs to God. But if you think about it this way, it helps living your day in a very intentional way. It helps living your week, your month, your life in a very intentional way. Because then you become very mindful about your 90%. And this is the deal. It's a great deal. So, 2 weeks ago, we attended the leaders' assembly. Where there were recognitions. At the national level, we are now measuring our growth. We are measuring our growth by percentage, and so what we are measuring our attendance, how many people are showing up. We are measuring our giving, how many people are giving, and how much are we giving. We are measuring how much we are helping our young people prepare for the blessing, right? So we are measuring these things. And Chicago came up second, and at the national level as the community that is growing the fastest. It was great. I felt, wow, this is the sum of the sacrifice of all the brothers and sisters. You don't have to be here this morning, but you can. Right? You sacrificed to be here this morning. And that is helping our church grow. Well, a big part of attendance is showing up. So we are showing up in greater and greater numbers. So I was very grateful. I offered it up. I say, Heavenly Parent, this is our offering. But a part of me felt, why are we second? Why are we second? I don't want to be second. I'm a bad loser. I'm a sore loser. I don't like to be second. I like to be first.
Lock the back door.
Lock the back door. I like to be. I like to be first. I want for us to move forward with the spirit that we will be the fastest growing community for the sake of heaven here in America. That we will set the standard for the nation. Right now, you may think, well, this is selfish. Well, okay, what if every community in America thought that way? That I want to be the first community for the sake of heaven. Aren't we going to fulfill heaven's wishes? Aren't we going to fulfill our true Father's wishes? Aren't we going to bring joy to our true Mother? We must going to be first. So it's a great deal. It's a big deal. We should have a cake up here and cut the cake and celebrate that we are the second fastest community. But at the same time, I would like for us to make a determination that we will be first for the sake of heaven. But what that means is we would be the first to sacrifice and offer it up. So, brothers and sisters, let's live a life of offering. This is the kind of life that heaven is calling us to live. But I'm here to tell you that a life of offering is a life of fulfillment. Our greatest fulfillment is in how much we can offer out to heaven. So, here's what I want to leave you with is for this week. How can you live a life of offering this week? You can start today. Please reflect on how you can truly live a life of offering. So if we can all do that, then heaven would be moved. This is my sermon today. Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Our dearest Heavenly Parent, our victorious true parent of heaven, earth, and humankind. We are such a blessed people. We are living at the time of the true parent. Saints and sages have waited for this day when the true parent would appear and give new life. We, the blessed true families who are here, are the most fortunate because we are living at this time where this promise is being fulfilled. And we truly want to live our lives with gratitude. But we have a responsibility, Heavenly Parent. You are reminding us of it over and over again. So I pray, Heavenly Parent, that we can become aware of our responsibility. And today you have reminded us that we cannot fulfill our responsibility without sacrifice, Heavenly Parent. So grant us the courage to sacrifice. But most importantly, help us, teach us how we can offer up our sacrifice to you so that you may use it for your sake. You may use it for your will. You may use it for the sake of this nation and for the world, oh Heavenly Parent. Receive our Johnson here today. Receive our devotion and investment here today, oh Heavenly Parent. And use it, Heavenly Parent. As we go through this week, teach us how we can live a life of offering. Teach us how we can become the vessels for your will, Heavenly Parent. I want to pray all this offering up to you in my name, Hebangja. Blessed true family, gratefully attending Holy Motherland. Adieu.